The following is a videotaped deposition held by Pelican Bay court reporters. My name is Rufus Jones. I'm the court reporter today. Present in the room are Mr. Scott Frost, Plaintiff's Counsel, Mr. Steve Levine, Defense Counsel, and Mr. Mathew Bader, the witness. This is the deposition of Mr. Bader. Counsel, you may proceed with your examination.
Good afternoon. Can you please state your name and spell it for the court reporter?
Yeah, my name is Mathew Bader. That's M-A-T-T-H-E-W space B-A-D-E-R.
Now, Mr. Bader, do you know why you're here today?
Yeah, I'm here because a couple of months ago those kids got killed in the street.
I see. Well, Mr. Bader, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? How old are you?
I'm 25 years old.
And where do you live?
Well, I live in 715 Bower Avenue. It's in Pelican Bay, Florida.
Pelican Bay, is that here in Colusa County?
Yeah, it is.
And have you lived in that neighborhood long?
I mean, I've been here for a while. I know the people that live around here, you know?
Right. Do you know any kids that live in the neighborhood?
Yeah, I know a couple of kids that live across 39th Street. I can't really remember any of their names, though. Sorry.
Okay, that's fine. Did you live there during 2011?
Yeah, I lived there for that entire year.
Okay, the entire year. So let's go back to March in 2011. What were you doing March 21st?
Well, let me see. March 21st was when we had that big neighborhood cookout.
The cookout. Where was the cookout?
Well, the cookout, there's a little park off of 39th Street between 15th Avenue South and 14th Avenue South, and the cookout was there.
And at the cookout, what did you do?
I mean, we did normal cookout stuff. Had some food, drank a couple of beers, got a basketball game going with a couple of the guys that showed up. A lot of people were there, some adults, some kids. Had a pretty good crowd watching us play, so.
Right. And I heard you mention beer. How much did you drink that day?
I couldn't tell you exactly, but I know it couldn't have been that much since I was still playing basketball pretty well, so yes, maybe a couple of beers at the most.
Okay. Around what time was all this going on?
Well, I mean, the cookout was for most of the afternoon. I don't really remember specific times. I do remember when I went to get my last beer, I checked my watch, and it was 10 minutes after 7, so.
Was it still light outside around that time?
Well, the sun had already set, so the sun had set, but it was still light enough to play ball by, I think the sun set maybe 15 minutes before I checked my watch.
15 minutes before, so I understand, and so it's clear. The sun set around 6:55 p.m.?
Yeah, 6:55 p.m. is when the sun would have set that day.
Okay, and were there any street lights on at that time?
Yeah, there's a bunch of lights, street lights up on 39th Street, but a lot of them have been out for a while.
How many lights were out that day?
That day, about 10 lights were out.
10 lights. All right, well, I want to ask you about some of the other people at the cookout.
Okay.
Do you remember seeing those kids that live off 39th Street?
Yeah, they were there.
Did you see them leave the park?
Yeah, when I was finishing up my last beer, I saw them get ready to head home.
Mr. Bader, what did you see happen to those kids as they left the park?
Well, I mean, they got run down in the street by a couple of cars. They got killed.
Right. Mr. Bader, I know this is painful, but I need you to walk us through what happened.
Okay.
As they were leaving the park, what did you see?
Well, they stepped off of the curb and stepped into 39th Street. The older boy was carrying one of the younger kids in his arms, and two of the other littler kids were walking with him. And I saw a dark car kind of heading towards him down the street. And I tried to yell at them, I tried to warn them, but I guess they didn't hear me. So I tried to run towards them to help them, but I couldn't get there in time. I just wish I could do something to change what happened.
What did you see happen as that car headed towards the kids?
I mean, it just plowed into them. It hit the older boy first, the one that was carrying the little kid, and the little kid just went flying into the air. The boy, he slammed into the front grille of the car, and he rolled up onto the hood, smashed into the windshield, and then got flung into the intersection.
Could you hear anything from where you were standing?
Yeah, I mean, when that car hit him, it was just a loud smacking sound, and I mean, it was loud. Everyone around could hear it.
What about the other two children?
Well, they were walking hand in hand with the older kid, so when the car hit him, I mean, it ran straight through them too. One of the kids got thrown away, but the other one, I mean, God, he got dragged underneath the car down the street. After a little while, he tumbled out from underneath it.
Did you see where he came out from under the car?
Yeah, I saw it was around 13th Avenue South.
And you said that a dark car ran over the kids.
Yeah.
Did you get a look at what kind of car it was?
I mean, not exactly, but it looked to me like it was early 90s, late 80s car, dark paint job, like a Honda Civic or maybe a Mazda.
Right. And could you tell me how fast that car was going?
It was going. I mean, the speed limit on that part of the street is 30 miles an hour, and there was no way the car was going that speed. It must have been at least around 60 miles an hour, and there's no speed bumps on that road either.
And what direction was the car driving in?
The dark car was coming northbound.
All right. Now, after it ran over the kids, what did you see the car do?
Well, the car kind of came to a stop for a few seconds, and I'm guessing the driver must have known what they had done. I mean, it hit at least 3 kids head on, and it sped off after a bit. I heard like gears grinding. I'm guessing the car must have been a manual transmission because I heard the grinding noise, like it was shifting, and then it just took off. I mean, way faster than it even drove down the street.
Did you ever get a chance to see the driver?
No, I didn't get a chance to. And after the car stopped, the driver turned the headlights off, and the lights inside the car weren't on, so all I really saw was a dark figure.
And did the driver ever get out of the car?
No, they never got out of the car. It's like after they stopped, they just took off.
Did you get a chance to see the license plate before they left?
No, everything happened so fast, I didn't even think to get the license plate.
Okay, thank you. What did you see in the street after the driver left, though?
It was awful. I mean, there were kids' shoes lying in the street. There was a puddle of blood. It's terrible.
And was the dark car the only car you saw hit the kids that night?
No. I mean, shortly after the dark car hit him, a van came and hit the 2 little kids that got hit last. The dark car kind of threw them into the intersection, and the van, I guess the driver didn't see him. He ran into him.
What did the van do after he ran into them?
Well, the van stopped for a little bit, and then it drove off.
What direction did it drive in?
This was the opposite direction. The van was moving southbound.
Okay, and did you manage to get a look at the van before it drove off?
A pretty good look, yeah. It was definitely a white Ford Econoline van. I mean, I even remember it had like a ladder on the top of it. So.
And did it look like the van was speeding as well?
No, nowhere near the speed that the dark car was going. I mean, this thing was going about the speed limit.
Do you know if anyone else saw all of this?
Well, everyone saw it. I mean, after that loud noise, everyone came running, so.
Okay, and did anything else happen afterwards?
Yeah, I think some of the people that were there, somebody had sent me 2 videos. They emailed it to me. I guess they got the whole incident on tape.
And these videos, do the videos look accurate to you?
Yeah, I watched them and they look pretty accurate with what I saw. So I still have them on my cell phone when I brought them in.
Thank you, Mr. Bader.